All right, this video will show you how to create a Pendragon character in the Alchemy RPG character sheet that I've created for you. In order to do so, you'll first click the link to Alchemy that I've given you, and that should bring you to a page where it says Pendragon Test. I'll rename that, so it might actually say Pendragon or something else. You'll click Join Game, and that should bring you to the Alchemy interface in general. My computer's running a little slow today, so we'll give it a minute. Okay, excellent. Now, at this point, because I'm the GM, it doesn't it doesn't give this to me, but because you're a player or accepting the player link, it should give you the option to select a pre-generated character or to select a character from your library. You're going to select one of those pre-generated characters that don't have any stats or anything. It's just the character sheet. So you'll click Sir or Dame Unnamed, and then you'll confirm that, and that will give you your character sheet. There's no character builder, there's just the sheet, so that's why I have the Pendragon Core rulebook open up over here. What we're going to do is I'm going to move over to the Creating Your Player Knight section, and this will inform us on how to play or how to create your character. Your character in Pendragon is part of a long lineage, a long line of knights, and so you'll have your life path as well that you can choose from, and you inherit some of the glory that your parents have had before you. Now, if both of your parents were knights, then you have to choose one or the other that you will take the name of, and then you gain part of their glory. But you can't choose both. Additionally, as the game continues on, you if you keep playing this game, then you can when your first character dies, the next character you take up is likely to be either the squire that you raised or one of your children, and so you can inherit the glory of your previous character. Glory is the main point of experience. It's the main way that you track progress or whether or not you are being successful, but it's not the only way. Additionally, every character has an ideal, something they aspire to be. And so if that's you want to be a knight at the round table, or if that's you want to ascend to a certain level of knighthood and then retire, like to the point of owning your own estate, whatever, then that determines when you, as a character, succeed. So anyway, let me go ahead and I'm going to pull up a character here, or add a new character. Let me see if I can do that easily. I might need to join as a player instead. Okay. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to need to join as a player. Or what I could possibly do is just go into the manage characters section. So that's what I'm gonna work on that right now, while I show you this over here. Essentially, your character has a page, squire, or knight, and you begin as a page, then you take on squire, and then you become a knight. In our game, you're going to begin as somewhere around the squire area. You might actually be a knight already. So you'll inherit your parents' glory, and then it uses a quick family history, assuming that this is your first player knight, in order to determine what your character is, what your character inherits. It gives a little system down here, and you can assume that they were born in year 462, squired in 476, and made a knight in 483, or you were knighted. That same year this is your parents, I guess. That same year they were married, and they get a certain amount of randomized glory. And then their eldest child, which is you, was born in 487, and you turned 14 in 501. It gives you this whole little rundown of how to establish yourself as part of a lineage. It then allows you to roll on some heroic events that your parents performed. So they might have been involved in a war, they might have been involved in a raid, a variety of possibilities here. On character creation, you can use, as we already know from every other RPG mostly, pre-gen characters, constructed characters, or randomized characters. You can choose whether male or female. Of course, there were very few female knights in history as we know it, but you can play a female knight with no problem here. That's why your pre-gen is named Sir or Dame Unnamed. You can choose your name, and usually people have a like a single name here, not a surname as well. It hasn't gotten to that point yet, so you can choose just a single name and determine. It gives you some options there. You'll be able to choose your religion. There are two main religions in Pendragon. The first is Christian, being under Constantine's or inherited from Constantine's empire, and now London or England. You would choose Christian, or there's a chance that you're pagan. So you can choose one of two of those, or you can roll a dice to determine that. You also have a current home, which is your liege lord. So somebody that you are devoted to, that you honor, that you respect, that you obey. And he basically, if you have a liege lord, he basically covers most of your expenses. So it's not something to shirk. Something that you should actually be appreciative of, and most knights would have been. There's a heavy class society in England at this time in the 400s, 500s, and so you as a knight are seen as like that. You were born to knighthood, and that is your state in society. You're not free to go and become a baker or a cobbler. You have to be a knight. And the same with the baker and the cobbler. They can't ascend to knighthood. They have to remain in their profession. And the same for a lord as well, all of that. So 5 characteristics: size, dexterity, strength, constitution, and appeal. I'll leave this here for you if you want to glance at it. You can actually pull up your own book that I've shared with you and read that while I exit out of this and pull up the proper sheets. Let's hope nobody clicked that one. And now our music's gone, but that's okay. I'm gonna begin to edit this character. And you'll notice in Alchemy, in order to edit your characters, you have to go up and click this little gear box in the top left, a little switch that allows you to edit all the details. And as always, please remember, after you've done your edits, to click the white button at the bottom. Now, when you're editing your character sheet, there's another function that can save it instead, which is clicking this button, toggle back. It allows you to save and then look at your character sheet. But don't always rely on that. Always click the white button, just because everything else is going to rely on the white button. Okay, it does give you some size equivalents over here in the book, and allows you to randomly determine your characteristic values. It also tells you in this time, in this age, in this region, the maximum value that anybody would have. So maximum size of 18, max dex of 18, strength of 18, maximum constitution 21, and a max appearance of 18. And as it notes here, these are achievable over the lifetime of a character through normal improvements. The constructed method, if you're going to build your character sheet, instead of randomizing it, you can distribute 60 points, this is like point buy, distribute 60 points among the characteristics as you desire, but with no final value lower than 8 or 5 higher than 15 prior to applying the cultural characteristic modifier. Kimric characters receive cultural characteristic modifier of +3 con after distributing the 60 points. I'm going to go ahead and use randomized here because I think it could be fun. I don't have, because I pulled it up in this way, I don't have a dice roller here, so I'm just going to roll physical dice and tell you what I get. So 2d6 is the primary method here. So first roll is going to be 8 plus 5 for a total of 13. And actually, in order to edit your attributes, just scroll down here. So my size is going to be 8 plus 5 for a total of 13. My dex, let's see here. My dex is going to be 8 plus 5 for a total of 13. 8 plus 5 for a total of 13. Each of these was a different roll. It was a 4, 4, 5, 3, now a 6, 2. This one's big. 11 plus 5 is a total of 16 in my con. And lastly, 11 plus 5 for a total of 16 in my appearance. So I'm a handsome and sturdy knight. Okay, great. These are derived characteristics below that. So these are things that you have to have other attributes for. And actually, I should have explained up here. These are trackers in Alchemy. So I've established as default trackers your current HP and your session glory. But you can switch those. You can just click and drag any of these up, and it will replace it. So if you would like to know, if you'd like a checkbox basically to know if you're inspired, you get a +5, or you're impassioned, you get a +10. You can move that up instead of session glory. Or afflictions, if you have any afflictions right now, stunned or that kind of thing. Or honor. Honor is not as it's not like glory. Honor assumes you always do the same thing or the right thing, I guess, the honorable thing at the time. You're chivalrous, and so the higher your honor, the more you act in accordance with that. And there's hidden honor as well as public honor. But I put it here because it might be something that you want to keep in mind, like, do you act honorably? But it's not actually, it doesn't fluctuate all that often. Okay, scrolling down then, we have all of our derived values. We also have distinctive features here. Let's see, if our appearance is, I guess we'll go based on the book rather than the character sheet I've created. So distinctive features I've placed over on the personal tab, which these aren't named, unfortunately. I couldn't name them. But if we go over to tab 5, I believe, yeah, distinctive features is down here. So since my appearance is 16, I get to add the elegant feature here. I'm elegant. Oh, that's elegant appearance. And I get 3 positive distinctive features. So I guess I mistook what I should have put in here, but I'm going to put this in parentheses. Elegant equals +3 distinctive features. Okay, great. So I can choose now some distinctive features. I may come up with any distinctive feature I like as long as I, the GM, permit it. There's a bunch of examples here that I can use. Features with an eye. Pick distinctive features with an eye toward my future children, because the Game Master may rule that some features are heritable. Well, interesting here. I have a pretty good appearance, but that doesn't mean the same thing today as it meant then. I'm going to say, let's go ahead. What was my other high attribute? It was Constitution, right? So let's go with something related to my physique. We'll say I am... I'm making a male here, so let's... so, smells like flowers. You know what? That's not actually a bad idea. I'm going to go barrel-chested. No, I'm going to go, yeah, barrel-chested and smells like flowers. And, or maybe I should do smells like moss. That seems a little more, let's go cedar and moss. And let me see. Let's do one more characteristic here, and let's make that a luxurious and combed beard. Oh, I could choose straight teeth. Man, that would be important. That's okay. All right, now that I have my distinctive features, let's go back to the first tab, and we'll do derived characteristics. Knockdown. Your size characteristic is also the threshold value for knockdown, where total damage greater than this value triggers a knockdown roll. So I'd have to withstand that roll. An average Kimric Knight has a knockdown threshold of 12. It's supposed to give me my my rate here. I should pull up another character sheet. I think it's, oh, it might say it over there. That's your weapon damage though. No. All right, I'm gonna pull up my another book real quick, so you won't be able to see this either. And this, I'm just gonna look on the table. Knockdown is just your size. Oh, your size characteristic is also. I should have seen that. Okay, so size is 13 for knockdown. If somebody deals 13 damage to me, or it might be 13 of my HP remaining. I have to recall, but then I might not get knocked down. Major wound. Your con characteristic is also your major wound threshold. Okay. Weapon damage. Your weapon damage is, I think that's the amount of damage that would require these rolls. Weapon damage is the number of dice you roll to determine the amount of damage you deliver with a deadly weapon blow. Some weapons modify the number of the dice rolled. Okay. Weapon damage equals strength plus size divided by 6. Okay. Strength 13, size 13 for a total of 26 divided by 6 would bring us to 4.2 or something like that. So let's go 4. Let's see. Plus a bonus if applicable. Okay, great. Brawling damage is strength plus size divided by 6. So that should be the same number, shouldn't it? Yeah. So brawling damage is plus 4 here. Healing rate is con divided by 5. So that'll be 3 for us. Movement rate is strength plus dex divided by 2. 13 plus 13 divided by 2, 26. That's 13 of a movement rate. Total hit points is con plus size. So I've got 16 plus 13, 29. Unconscious. This value is the threshold below which a character falls unconscious. Every time a character's current hit points fall below this, then they drop to the ground, senseless and out of play. In a bad fight, this may save your life. And so you would get knocked down and unconscious rather than being like right above it, or even below it, and then taking the next big blow and being completely killed. So this is your total hit points divided by 4. Total HP is 29 divided by 4 is going to be 7. Okay. All right, personality traits. Now, personality traits are going to be the virtue-vice duality. They must equal, when they're combined, a total of 20. So, for example, if I had 10 chaste, I would have 10 lustful. All right? So, 10 chaste, 10 lustful. If I had 15 chaste, I would have 5 lustful. If you ever have a value that is 16 or greater, you almost always act in accordance with that. And I'll explain what that means when we go over the rules themselves. But you can, when you're 15 and below, it is, despite being a less of a chance for you to roll under lustful, because it's a roll low system, despite you being able to roll under lustful, you have a 5% chance, or a, 20% chance? 20% chance. 25% chance. 25% chance to roll under lustful. If you have 15 and 5, you can choose which stat you roll first. Like, oh, I want to act in lust this time, so I'm going to roll lustful first, because if I succeed, I don't have to roll chaste. But if you have a 16, it doesn't matter if you want to be lustful, you have to roll chaste first, which means you have a very good chance of succeeding. So if you have 16 or above, not only do you have the percentage of succeeding here and the percentage of likely failing here, but you have the prerogative to roll this first. If that's confusing, don't worry about it, and I'll explain more or guide you through it when it comes up to time. Okay. Personality traits are written as traits, quantify and guide a character's actions. All traits come in pairs, etc., things I've just told you. A trait with a value of 16 or higher may dictate how a character acts, even in inopportune moments, but they also grant glory. These are the trait pairs. There are religious virtues as well, and in order to become certain kinds of knights, you want certain values in these traits. We probably won't get to this because we're playing a short campaign, but in a longer campaign, you would, if you ever reached, for example, all of your, If all of your Christian virtues, which are chaste, forgiving, merciful, modest, spiritual, and temperate, reached basically a threshold of 15 or higher, then you would become a religious knight. You might even think of them as a paladin. Similarly, if you're a pagan, then you have pagan virtues: lustful, energetic, generous, honest, proud, and spiritual. And same kind of thing. There's also romantic knight, also chivalrous knight, and also a knight of the round table. Each of these kinds of knights require certain virtues to be at a certain level. But again, we probably won't get to that, so I won't spend much more time on it. Nonetheless, there are Christian virtues that come as a result of being a part of the Christian faith, if legally, even if not, or rather by birth, even if you don't really believe, which many people would be like in this time, or pagan virtues. They dictate that you start with higher ones of those. Now, on a physical character sheet, these would likely be bolded, but I wasn't able to do that here. So a way that you could do this for now is to checkbox those ones rather than bolding them. And the checkbox in the middle of the game will serve a different purpose, but you can use that for now if you'd like. And we didn't actually roll, so let me roll a dice. 1 to 5 is Christian, and 6 is pagan. I rolled a 6, so that means we are pagan, and our virtues are going to be lustful, which doesn't always mean sex, energetic, generous, honest, proud, and I misordered that there, and spiritual. I think that's the right. Yeah, okay. Checkboxes got a little wonky. It might be better if we uncheck this. Let's see. Tab 4 were we? Nope, tab 5. Nope, we weren't tab 5. Tab 3? Did I lose everything? Tab 2. Okay. Yeah, okay, so they do match up better in here, which is good for us. All right, let me go back to the edit mode, and let me go back. Did I put religion box? I think it's under the personal. Religion, I am pagan. This character will be available for any of you to choose. Okay. Additionally, constructed method. Nope, we're not starting at constructed. We're doing randomized method. So we roll 2d6 plus 3 for each left-hand trait, except for Valorous, which is 2d6 plus 8. We start at the top, work our way down to the left column. If you roll a religious trait for your character, add plus 3 to the value when you enter it. Random values may start higher than 15, but if you did a constructed, like a point buy, you would not be able to. Conversely, when you roll the opposite of a religious trait, such as modest for pagan, reduce the value you enter by 3, and then fill in the opposite values related. Sounds great to me. So let's go then. We're rolling down the left column, so we're going to roll 2d6 plus our number, except we roll a minus here because we are lustful. So that's going to be 6 plus 3 is 9, minus 3. So we're going to be 6 chaste, which is going to give us a 14 lustful. We are energetic, or our religious trait is. So we get a 10, and we get an additional 3. Is that right? Rule 2, 6 plus 3 for each left-hand trait, and an additional plus 3 on top of that. So that's going to be 3. So that's going to be 16 energetic, which means we are very unlazy with a 4. 2d6 plus 3 on the forgiving. Nope, that's a terrible roll for 3 plus a total of 6 here. We're very vengeful. Generous. This is one of our traits, so 6, 7, 10, 13, which gives us a 7 in selfish. 6, 7, 10 for 13 on honest, and 7 on deceitful. 4, 1, 5 plus 3 is 8 for just, which gives us a 12 here in arbitrary. I didn't miss Valorous yet, right? Okay. 2d6 plus 3 here. That's going to be 7, 10 for merciful and 10 for cruel. So we're right in the middle there. 7 plus 3 for 10 modest. Nope. Modest is something we're not, right? Because I see this checkbox here. Yeah, we're proud. So 10 Rather, 7 minus 3 is a 4 here, which gives us 16 on proud. Okay, this one marks to here. So prudent is 9 plus 3 for a total of 12, and 8 on reckless. 4 plus 3 plus 3. It's relatively low, so we're not that spiritual. That's 4, 7, 10 on spiritual, even though it's our value, and 10 on worldly. 6 plus 3 is going to be 9 on temperate, which gives us 11 on indulgent. 9 plus 3 is 12 on trusting, and 8 on suspicious. Last one gives us a plus 8 to valorous instead of the plus 3 normal. So that's going to be 5 plus 3 is 8, plus an additional 8 is 16. You can never run away from a fight, or seldom anyway. All right, there are our traits. I'm going to uncheck all of these now, and we can always reference them if we need to. Okay, excellent. Passions. Now, we have passions are directed traits, like you might hate a certain kind of a group of people or a religious group or whatever, but it's not just that. Those would be directed traits like hatred of Picts, but there's also passions that are fidelitas, fervor, adoratio, and civilitas, which of course are all Latin, and you don't need to translate them. But let me go over to the passions page where I can recall. Here they are. Okay, so I've placed in these boxes like a reminder of what each of these are designed to go for, but you won't always have all of them filled out. So everybody will have homage to someone, as well as fealty to something. You'll have a love, probably a spouse if you're married, but you might also have love of family if you're not. And then devotion to a deity or something else, hospitality, station, and other things. So Latin, of course, doesn't easily translate to English in a single word, but fidelity would just be like who you hold your allegiance to, I guess would be the best way. Allegiance. Then fervor is like where you devote your energies, like why you do what you do. So family would be certainly a good one to go in here. Devotion or adoratio is love, but it's in a more abstracted kind of way. And then civility is society. So caring about other people. All right, let's see here. Ideal chivalry, romance, should consult aspirations. Okay, so we're not using the constructed method. We're doing random. Knights start with honor and homage to your lord. So let's do homage, lord. At 2d6 plus 8. 2d6. That's 9 plus 8 for a total of 17 here. That's pretty big. We are extremely devoted to our lord. Honor and homage to our lord. All right, and then we start with, and now maybe fealty is intended here. These checkboxes, by the way, are for use in game, not right now. I'm guessing that fealty is also intended with honor here. So let's go ahead and note that mercenary knights start with fealty in place of homage. So yeah, okay, fealty instead of homage. Are we mercenary? We didn't choose whether we're mercenary knights or if we're liege knights, and we didn't actually roll that either yet. So let's go ahead and say that we do have a lord rather than we have our own, that we are our own mercenary, our own director. Okay, let's move on then. I'll find out what that love thing is. Love for family is 2d6 plus 3. Ooh, I don't love my family. 2d6, I rolled 3. 3 plus 3 is a total of 6. And this is family here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. We have hospitality is at 2d6 plus 3. Let's see how hospitable we are. Mild. 5 plus 3 is a total of 8. We don't always need to put something in the box, by the way, but it is there in case we do. We have station at 2d6 plus 3. So we are 13. We are extremely honorable towards our station. Oh, wrong thing. 13 here. Hospitality station at 2d6 plus 3. Love, family, yep. And now, honor and homage. I'm gonna, oh, honor's just our stat, our honor stat. Let me go back and adjust that real quick. Oh, I can't yet. I have another section for it, which doesn't automatically update, so it's not ideal, but it is what it is. Unless I took it out. Looks like I took it out. So, yeah, we'll just have to remember that we start at 2d6 plus 8, and we can adjust it then. Back to our passions. All right, next up is our hospitality station, devotion to our deity. It's 1d6 plus 2. We start at a total of 3. We should probably choose a deity at this point as well. Let's say, I don't know where we're coming from yet. Let's go ahead and say we want the old ways and we appreciate Odin. We can change that later. Vikings actually weren't common at this time, not until a couple hundred years later, but that's okay. All right. Distribute no more than another 4d6 plus 1 points among the obligatory passions and any others. So we can add an extra 4d6 plus 1 points total to anything that we've already put in or anything new. We get another d6 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be 8, 9, 12 plus 1 for a total of 13. We get 13 more points. I'm okay with having abandoned our family basically, or, like not worrying about them, being more concerned with our station as a knight. And I think I'll double down in that. So we're going to add, we have 13 left. So we're going to go 3 more here. That means we have 10 left. We're not going to be hospitable for the same reason that we are not, that we're not overly and devoted to our family. Let me see. I think we what we could do though is we could add a love or a fervor towards a priest or a church or something like that. So why don't we do that? So let's go Odin's maybe it's even almost priestess. Would Odin have priestesses? He probably would not have very many, but there would probably be an oracle. So we're going to add that, and we start with 10 here. We're going to add, we're going to go high on this for 8. So we have 2 points left. Let's go ahead and add fealty to, let's go towards the old country. And we're going to add 2 there. That'll take up the rest of ours. Okay. That's our randomized method here. We may not raise a passion above 15. Did I do that? I think I did that somewhere. I did here. So let's give 1 more towards the old country. Okay. Inherited passions. You may pass on passions to your offspring. We're not going to worry about that right now. Skills. Okay. Skills are what allow our player knight to accomplish great deeds in the game. Determine the values for your skills in the following order: beginning values, cultural skill modifiers, family characteristic, and personal skill additions. Beginning values. Beginning skills value table shows the beginning proficiency for all knights. All right, so let's add all of these real quick. I should have done this for you. My error. 5, 5. Appearance, 16 minus 5 for a total of 11. I got those mixed up. This is 11. This we haven't gotten to yet. Chirurgery is like caring for the dying. It's basically like hospice, and it's not a nightly skill. Women that stay at home are expected to have this. Several other people are expected to have this, but it's actually dishonorable for a knight to have this skill in high use. Okay, so we're gonna leave that there. Compose. We got dancing. We didn't get anything. We got courtesy. Where's compose? Compose starts at 5. Awareness starts at 5. Courtesy starts at appearance minus 5. Dancing is dex minus 2. I'm pretty sure our dex was 13, so that puts us at 6. Falconry is 5. Fashion is appearance minus 5. It's at 11. First aid is dex minus 2. Flirting and folklore are both appearance minus 5, so we're starting at 11 here. Gaming, it starts at 5. Where's gaming? Hunting 5. Intrigue, appearance minus 5. We're skipping over industry then. Literacy is 0. Orate is appearance minus 5. I put all of these non-nightly skills in the midst of them because when you're scrolling, I wanted you to be able to look alphabetically rather than trying to figure out if it was a nightly skill or not. Play instrument is dex minus 2. Recognize is 5. Oh. Our religion, this is not our religion necessarily, and this relates to knowledge rather than to devotion. Singing is 5. Stewardship is 5. Combat skills, starting value. Okay, here's the combat skills. I did separate those. Combat skills are 5 on battle. It's like strategizing and that kind of thing. Horsemanship is dex minus or divided by 2. Where is my horsemanship? I did put those in alphabetical order, which probably creates problems creating, but will be better later. Charge is dex minus 2, or divided by 2. Brawling is strength divided by 2. That was also a 13, though. What are we missing here? Hafted is going to be 6. Sword. Wait, let's go to hafted two-handed. I'm going out of order here just because it's better for this. Spear is dex minus 2. I think all of these are dex minus or divided by 2 except for brawling. So I'm just going to go and quickly do that. Bow is also dex divided by 2. Yep. All right, so I'm a 6 at all of those. That's fine. Now, skills that had an asterisk in the book are knightly skills. Note that characters must have a minimum value of 10 in brawling, charge, sword, and 2 non-weapon knightly skills of choice in order to qualify for knighthood. Players have a chance to increase these skill values later. Some values are set while others may vary by the character's strength, dex, or appearance. A starting value of strength divided by 2 or dex divided by 2 equals half of the character's strength or dex value. And starting value of appearance minus 5 is, okay, that's fine, whatever. Or appeal, I guess, is what that actually is. Cultural skill modifiers. All right, let's go ahead. We'll adjust the knightly skills soon after we adjust the cultural modifiers. I think that was the order they told us to go in. So cultural modifiers, family characteristic. Kimric Knights begin play with cultural skill modifiers of +3 to charge, horsemanship, and courtesy. Family characteristics. Each family has a special talent for something, and all members of a family get the same bonus, though this varies between the knights and ladies of the family. We can roll on a table here to see what our family characteristic is. So 1d20 coming up. It's going to be a 6 for us, so we're, how perfect. Seductive and flirting. Okay. So we get a +3 bonus to flirting here. Where is flirting at? Done. All members of the family get the same bonus, so this varies between the knights and the ideals of the family. Okay, and Kimric Knights, I actually, because we're coming from somewhere else, I don't think we qualify as a Kimric Knight. I could be mistaken in that, but I'm not going to add the +3 to charge, horsemanship, and courtesy right now. Okay, personal skill additions. Player knights mutually or naturally develop their personal interests with time and attention. We read through the descriptions of the skills and choose some that may be useful, etc. Blah, blah, blah. Limitations. You may not raise a skill above 15, including bonuses from cultural skill modifiers and family characteristics. Okay. Except for bonuses from cultural skill and family character modifiers, skills with starting values based on appeal may not exceed the value of the appeal characteristic at the time of character creation. Okay. Obtaining knighthood. At this point, your character is a 14-year-old squire in service to a knight. The game master wishes, the campaign can begin now, playing through the entirety of the player squire's training. However, for your first character, you should invest up to 7 years of training and practice by following the steps below. That's what we're going to do. You're going to start as a fully fledged knight, not a squire. So you can make use of these stats and rolls here. To qualify for knighthood, squires must be at least 18 years of age and have skill values of 10 in each sword, charge, brawling, and 2 non-weapon knightly skills. Usually it's horsemanship and courtesy. To represent the minimum amount of knightly training, it's a good idea to have high honor and valorous values as well, but this is not strictly necessary. Most squires serve their knights until they are 21, at which point they are knighted. Game assumes a default age of 21, blah, blah, blah. Training and practice. For each year of training, select one. Distribute 5 points among character skills applying the same limitations. Add 1 point to any trait to a maximum of 19 or passion. Add 1 point to strength, size, dex, con, or appearance. Characteristics raised in this manner do not affect skill values. You may not raise any characteristic to a value greater than the cultural maximum for a character of that culture. So your random Kimric values for the Kimric cultural maximum. Maybe we do qualify as Kimric then. I'm going to go ahead and do that. That'll be easier for us in the long run. So +3 to horsemanship it was, +3 to charge, I think. And now for each year we get to do this. So we're 7 years. 7 years. All right. Distribute 5 points for each of the years among the character's skills applying the same limitations. All right. This is going to take a little more math and some things. So let's pause the video here. You've gotten, you can do the +7 to any of these skills. You can do the +1 to any trait. You can do the +1 to any characteristic 7 times in order to reach the proper age. And that will get us, and then I'll pick up the video from there on. We're close to being done, but that'll keep us moving. Thanks for watching. Hope this has been helpful, and looking forward to playing.